Okay, hey, I am Eddie. Welcome to the TED podcast.
Hey, I'm Tom, and welcome to the TED Podcast, Episode 2. Today we'll be discussing many subjects, which you'll see below us. Actually, above us, now that I think about it. Sorry about that.
That's correct.
The first subject is Chris Tyson, also known as Mr. Beast's right-hand man. Chris Tyson recently came out as trans, and well, let's just say it's quite a controversial subject on Twitter. Although I side with the man, lots of people don't. And I think this is downright outrageous. People keep commenting about how he's changed, but I like to see it more as they weren't comfortable with who they were, so they changed to better themselves. Eddie, may I ask for your opinion on this?
Yeah, I think if you're not comfortable as who you are, you gotta change to, you know, I mean, you don't have to change, but if you want to change, you change, and other people, their opinion doesn't really matter. Like, it's just, I mean, not to be rude, but it's a bunch of neckbeards sitting here complaining about why some random guy they've never met is now a random, possibly not guy, that they still haven't met.
The people who comment on Chris Tyson's sex change are immature or transphobic or just scummy in general, and it really disgusts me that nowadays people are still like this after many, many years to change their attitude. It's still the same, and it disgusts me because Chris Tyson is a very down to earth person, and I don't think Mr. Beast's channel would be the same without them. And it just amazes me how people could be so stupid as to bully someone like that.
Yeah, I think the thing is that people, they're not necessarily doing it, like, out of hatred, they're doing it because, like, they want, people like Edgy to get attention, right? Like, I don't think they
Yeah, they
actually
kind of want
think
the
that.
old Chris back, but I'd say the way of thinking him, I think when he was now many people are reflecting on the fact that he was a man,
Yeah.
but people are saying oh, what happened, Carl effect, what happened to the old Chris, and that's just stupid because Carl had no influence on Chris. Maybe he did. Maybe he made him feel more. Maybe he made him know. Maybe Carl was the little nudge that Chris needed to find who he really was. And you can't just say I miss the old Chris because it's not really an old Chris.
It's the same
He
Chris.
changed. He
He hasn't
changed. He
changed.
changed his gender. He's still the same person. He's
Yeah.
still the same lovable person.
He never changed.
So
He's no
yeah.
different.
And Daddy, would you like to introduce the next subject?
So, our next subject, I believe, it's Little Richard, isn't it?
No.
Oh no, you're right, it's Mr. Beast. Or is it Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So the tweet will be on screen that Eddie's about to present to you guys. So here you go, Eddie. Read
yeah,
it.
so, the tweet is
The
here.
tweet says, "I need your help!" Exclamation mark. Next time you see Feastables in Walmart and soon to be new retailers, if you could clean up the presentation and make it look better, that'd make me very happy. I'm building a team to do this routinely. Just need help in short term. The image will be on screen. Take a look at that. Eddie, would you like to
Yeah.
talk about this?
So, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the thing is that, like, these people, it's kind of teaching the good values, but I feel like they'll kind of have the motive to go out of their way to not clean up displays for other chocolate bars, because, the influence Mr. Beast has in general. It's just kind of,
Honestly, I'm not really sure how much we can say about this subject. I think the fact Jimmy wants this is beautiful and it's
yeah,
kind of breathtaking. That he wants. Obviously, he's a very successful guy. I think people who do this and then post it on Twitter and stuff, I think they do it purely because they think, oh yeah, maybe if we do this, Mr. Beast will send us like $100 or something.
yeah,
But no, that shouldn't be a motive. You see this in a store, you should just do it anyway, just for free will, just to be able to say, yeah, you know what, I went into a shop earlier and I did something good.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna say that I would definitely do what most people do and tidy it up. I might walk past it, but I'm not going to promise anything about it. So yeah, that's my opinions on that subject. Eddie, anything else you'd like to say?
um, I mean, not really, no, I was gonna say one thing, I forgot what it was, yeah, I think it kind of takes away, like, the genuine part of it, because when you go and help someone out without being
Yeah.
told to, and it feels good. But when you do it because Mr. Beast told you to, you know, like you still know you're doing a good thing, but you know, you don't know as much because you've been told to do it. Like you don't feel the
Okay,
same feeling.
I'd say that rounds up the Mr. Beast part of the evening. And by the
Yeah.
way, this is just an FYI to the audience. Me and Eddie, well, it's currently 11:45
Oh shit. Yeah.
p.m. That's why our voices are quite raspy and we're speaking quite quietly. So, sorry about that. Well, the next subject is Little Richard. Strange subject to bring up on a podcast where
Yeah.
we've just done one about Lego.
I think we
But
should do
Little
a.
Richard is a man who interlopes with Elvis Aaron Presley. Elvis has covered a couple of songs that Little Richard has. Some would say arguably made them better. He's grabbed a lot more attention with his moves, his hair, his style, and that's basically all I know on the subject. Eddie, take it away.
Yes, I think we should start giving a bit of backstory on Little Richard since he's not as heard of. So he's basically just a rock and roll artist in the 50s who's kind of got famous, but basically his take, he's making a movie. I think he's dead actually, but
But
might
his
not
family
be.
or something, or
Someone's
basically
making a movie about him,
making a movie.
saying "I am everything." That's the title of the movie. It'll be on screen. But basically his claim, in the trailer is, "Sorry guys, it wasn't Elvis." Basically he's saying, Elvis didn't do anywhere near as much as he did, which it's slightly justified because Elvis had a lot of the stuff on the softer side, like like "Don't Be Cruel" and that sort of thing. But Little Richard, I don't think he was as influential, partially because of the time. Because he was black, he didn't really get promoted as much as Elvis did. So I guess he's trying to tell his own story. But
We're
yeah,
not saying it's purely a race thing, but that could interlope with it.
yeah. I mean,
But
it was the
obviously
50s.
Elvis in the 60s and 70s with his rock music and his outfits, his fashion. Obviously, that's going to bring in more attention. But I'd say that's good attention for Little Richard as well,
Yeah,
because he's getting the attention because of his original songs.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll get them up actually because I don't know if it'll still be as relatable. But wait,
Right now, before Eddie puts the next photo on screen, we're going to show a side by side of Little Richard and Elvis Aaron Presley, just to show you kind of the similarities, the differences, and stuff. So that'll be on screen now. And Eddie, what were you going to show?
I'm just gonna try and get the views up for Okay, I don't have them, but basically, Little Richard wrote Tutti Frutti in 50 something, and Elvis released it afterwards, and he made like so much more, and he didn't even credit Richard, but he made like so much more money from it. I can't find the stats for it, but it's a lot more.
Does that round up this subject about Little Richard and Elvis?
So yeah, it's a bit self-censored, but I think it's fair to get his side of the story too.
I'm going to start the next subject because Eddie's not very confident on it.
That's
But
true.
Eddie will do the. I'll also do the next one after this. But Eddie's okay with that. So, the Dream SMP come to an end on April the 10th, which brings upset to a lot of people because April or May of 2022 was a hard time. COVID hit, pandemic, collaborations across various Twitch channels happened, and it gained so much popularity for a younger audience and an older. So I just think this could have changed a lot of people's lives with it ending. But all I'm going to say is I'm thankful for people like that. I watched the Dream SMP. I stuck by them. I think they're all amazing guys. That's really all I have to say, Eddie. Anything?
I didn't really watch most of their stuff, but from what I watched, it was mostly pretty good. I think obviously it's got to come to an end eventually. I think it's better to quit while it's good than to quit when it's not good.
I agree with that, but I think it's been fairly good all along.
Yeah.
They dealt with hate the best way they could, which was just keep on continuing making content, which I think is smart because think about it. Someone like Dream or Tommy Innit or someone with high influence stops recording for a week. What? their audience goes crazy. They don't know anyone. Well, I think having the Dream SMP long running was great.
Yeah, I think they probably quit at like the perfect time because sooner or later it was gonna start going downhill. Like something's gonna go wrong. This always does, and I think if you quit while you're ahead, it works out better, leaving it with a good legacy.
Yeah, I agree. Next subject, Eddie. You can introduce it, but I'll read out tweet.
Yeah, so Andrew Tate was released from prison, unless that's the wrong subject.
That's the right subject, Eddie.
Yeah, so Andrew Tate's out.
To us talking about Andrew Tate. I will put the exact tweet on the screen. Well, Eddie will, but I'll send it to him. Andrew Tate tweeted at some point, I'm assuming it was December the 31st. He tweeted, "I was made for battle, a warrior of the light. My enemies hoped to attack me with lies. They tried to destroy my family unit. They tried to silence any loud opposition. I refuse to leave fellow men in the dark. Someone needs to show them the light. Who better than Tate?" And then a subtweet says, "God is on our side, so the Matrix will not win. Inshallah." Sorry if I've read that wrong. I'm not too familiar with that term. But I think what Andrew is saying here is completely somewhat delusional. And it's what he'd want to hear if he was a younger person with this kind of influence.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Andrew Tate has a lot of influence today, mostly on young men, occasionally women. But I just think Andrew Tate is a bad person, and he's not really the kind of person that anyone should call top G or influencer or anything. I think that's downright wrong.
Yeah,
To support someone like this.
I think
Obviously, he has his brother Tristan, but Tristan's not as bad, in my opinion. I know we stick together, so I probably shouldn't be wording it like this. But Tristan is a fairly good guy. He just gets his views out the wrong way. But I don't think he believes in anything too over the top. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has all these stuff to say about the Matrix and his time in prison. And if you want to look up on that, just follow Cobra Tate on Twitter. I'm not trying to give him views here, but I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my say. Eddie, anything else?
I think him coming out coming out from prison is not going to be a good thing, because he might have learned his lesson, but I think once he's out of house arrest, he's going to start making videos and doing dodgy things again. And, like, I don't know if you've ever met Tate supporters, but they're really not good. I wouldn't. I guess it makes sense. Like, he says reasonable
I'll
things,
be honest,
and he says bad things.
I'll be honest. When Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate brothers first came onto the scene, I somewhat looked up to Andrew Tate, but I've realised why now. I was in a bad headspace at the time when it was like early 2022, mid 2022, whenever it was. I was in a bad headspace, and I really thought that he was someone I could look up to, someone to give me inspiration. But then I read all the stuff he said about mental health, like men shouldn't cry. Well, that's just bullshit, Andrew. We all know it, because
Yeah.
men cry, men do cry, men have emotions, every kind of emotion that women have. That's all I have to say on the subject. Thank
Thing
you,
is,
Eddie.
He generally, like, his audience is like insecure or not, maybe depressed, like less mentally healthy young men.
I'd like to second the point about them being insecure about themselves.
Yeah, like, he picks on their insecurities, like, you're poor, you're never gonna be rich if you don't follow this, and they're. When you're like in that space where you're like, I'm never gonna make it, I gotta find the right person to follow. I gotta be like this
Most
person.
young men have been in that part of their life, and I think it's bad how many men suffer with mental health.
Yeah, that needs to be
we're
more.
probably going to draw a line to this subject round about now, but
Yeah.
I just think if you need help, mentally or physically, get it. Don't be afraid to cry. Everyone cries. If you want, leave a comment. Tell us about your story. We'd listen. We'd talk about it.
Yeah.
We'd enjoy spending time with you viewers. So this brings me to the last part of the video. Thank you all for watching, and check out the TED Podcast Part 1, Episode 1, which will be in the link at the end, along with Eddie's channel and my channel. So thank you all for watching, like and subscribe. Eddie, anything else?
Don't think so, no.
Alright then. Politely I say, goodbye, fellow friends.
Yeah, I guess so. See you in the next one.
Bye.